Part of the problem with the Giants right now, and I hope Buster can change this, even though Buster's old school. They're not in the Japanese market, which is a major thing. And one of the reasons why the Dodgers are so far ahead of them right now is they have 3 Japanese players. If Sasaki is what he's supposed to be, and we know what Yamamoto is, and Ohtani is now throwing off a mound, they've invested heavily, and money absolutely talks, but you've got to have some sort of a culture there, and they have it. And so they've outdone the Giants in that way. In the international market, the Giants just got the second best prospect behind Sasaki, but the guy's 17, and I don't know what he's going to end up being. The international market is a complete crapshoot, because what you're doing is, remember I said the NFL draft is like lottery tickets? I don't even know how to have a proper analogy or comparison for what the international market is in baseball. It's like swinging at a Nolan Ryan up and in fastball with a blindfold on. Like you have no idea. Luciano's going to be awesome 7 years later. It's like, does the guy have any position? Fox was a guy that the Giants threw a bunch of money at, and they traded him to Tampa. Hello? Is he here? Where was that guy? Where did that guy ever go? Like international guy after international guy after international guy. You know, it's hard to hit on those guys. Some of them hit, and it's like, oh, my God, that's amazing. And I did this, you know this, and I don't have the video on my screen right now. But I showed you a video about 2 weeks ago of the guy that the Giants signed as the second best international prospect in this year's class. And after they were out on Sasaki, they went immediately the next day and signed this guy. And I showed you a video of a guy that was basically playing baseball with a pitcher, a first baseman, and a left fielder. And they were playing on a field that was brutal. And then there was like trailers and stuff all around it. And that's what the Giants are giving the second best prospect on. That's the video that we got with the big signing, was this guy, and the first baseman had to run all the way over and play shortstop in the left field. It's like basically they're playing over the line. If you ever played that when you're growing up as a kid, they were playing over the line, which is like a game that you play when you have like 5 guys and you have a catcher, a pitcher, a first baseman, and a left fielder. And maybe you might have a third baseman or a center fielder, but there's like 5 guys and you don't have enough guys to play. And that's the guy that they signed. That's not a lottery ticket. That's like, good luck with that. So the way that they're getting players right now, the Giants, they don't have a Japanese connection. The international shoot, and they got that. The Major League Baseball draft, if the NFL draft is 50-50 in the first round, the Major League draft, they nailed Timmy, Matt Cain, and Madison Bumgarner, boom, 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 3 years in a row. Like, that's unheard of. And then after that, they would, I mean, when's the next time they took a decent guy in the first round? Zach Wheeler was really good. They traded him away. But after that, it was like this string of guys, Hunter Bishop or all these different guys. It's like first, it's just a total crapshoot. So I'm just talking about how you acquire players and how difficult it is. Japanese market, international market, Major League Baseball draft, free agents, but hitters won't come here. Now, Adames did, but most of the time hitters won't come here. Pitchers will. So you got to be aggressive in trying to get pitchers here. So that's how else you get guys. Trades. Did they do any trades this offseason other than Taylor Rogers to save $6 million? What other big, did they have a big trade this offseason that I'm forgetting about? I don't think so. So the Giants don't do a whole lot of trades. So then here's the other philosophy. This is what's hurting the Giants. Here's the other philosophy with the Giants. We won't do double-digit contracts, and they tried with Carlos Correa. It didn't work. They got Adames at 7 years. If you think you're going to win a championship and you're close to a championship, then the last 3 or 4 years of a deal, like basically Albert Pujols kind of a thing, where the last few years of the deal, you're just going to eat it and hate it. But you know what? He gave you X amount of championships. Well, Pujols never did, so you're like, that sucks. But Ohtani's already delivered one in LA, so whatever the deferral money and all that kind of stuff and the amount of years, that's fine. You're just looking for a championship or 2, and you can justify that money. So they won't go with position players into double-digit years, whether you like that or hate it. They won't go beyond 5 years for a pitcher, the Giants, and these are self-imposed things. They don't want to go beyond 5 years for a pitcher. I understand. But the way that the league is going, dangerously or not, they're doing 7-year deals for pitchers, that kind of stuff, which I think, yeah, it's dangerous as hell. But if you're a major market team, you can do that. If you're the Twins or the Brewers or the Pirates or something like that, doing, double-digit years for players and doing beyond 5 years for a pitcher is really dangerous because you don't have the revenue for it. And if you miss on one of those, it's going to hamstring your ability to sign players and your finances for years and years and years. That's not where the Giants are. So self-imposed, no double-digit player contracts for position players, no pitching contracts beyond 5 years. Okay, that's what the Giants have done. That's self-imposed. So let's go through it one more time. Not in the Japanese market, International is a beyond crapshoot. Fastball coming down the middle with the blindfold on. That's what that is. Major League Baseball draft has not been kind to the Giants as of late, which is one of the reasons why they've struggled. When they won World Series, it was 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐿, Kane, and Bumgarner, and Brandon Crawford, and Brandon Belt. I mean, that's what they were getting out of the farm system that they drafted. But 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐿, Kane, and Bumgarner were all first-round picks. Whoa. We're cooking with gas. We're winning World Series. That hasn't happened. They haven't nailed the first-round picks. Now they're hoping with Bryce Eldridge, he's one. So he would be the rare. But again, it's not. It's the NFL is difficult. Major League Baseball draft is extremely difficult. It's hard to get even guys in the first round to be any good. The position players generally won't come here unless you massively overpay, and you won't give a double-digit contract or a 5-year or more contract to pitchers. Self-imposed. So how do you get better? How do you get better? So this is why, in a long way, and now I'm going to bring it back to Bregman. Sorry this is taking so long, but let me bring it back to Bregman. The way the Red Sox got Alex Bregman, the way the Dodgers got Shohei Ohtani, the way the Dodgers got Blake Snell, the way the Dodgers got Tanner Scott, the deferral money is what I'm getting to, the deferral money. And people yell and scream, and it's another loophole that the Dodgers can win, and and the Giants won't do it. The Giants will not put a player on a credit card and pay the balance later. They don't want to do that. That's a philosophy, and that's fine. But if you don't want to go double digits, even though a lot of other teams are, if you don't want to go beyond 5 years on a pitching contract, which a lot of other teams are, if you don't want to defer money to players and you're a major market team and you can afford it and the revenue is going to grow in the future, because I just talked about revenue of the NFL, revenue of baseball, where they're a little bit slower, still everybody's going to get into baseball and revenues are going to grow, and the Giants are fine, thank you very much, in the revenue pie. They're fine. So the Dodgers have decided they want to win at such a level that they'll defer the money to the future for other people to pay. You know, it's like Wimpy the Hamburger. I will gladly pay you Tuesday for Alex Bregman today. Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you not defer? Everybody's doing it. I know you don't want to do the Bobby Bonilla thing or all these different guys. Max Scherzer got a bunch of deferred money. But here's the reality. Baseball's putting things on a credit card. Guys are deferring contracts. Baseball is giving 10-year contracts to position players, whether you like it or not. Baseball is giving 5+, 6, 7-year contracts to pitchers, whether you like it or not. They won't do any of those things, and they're not in the Japanese market. And the international market is a fastball down the middle, up and inside with a blindfold on. And the MLB draft is a complete crapshoot as well. And position players generally won't sign here because of the ballpark. How do you get better? How do the Giants get better? How do you do it? You don't want to sign Bregman and put him on a layaway plan or put him on a credit card and pay off the debt later. Okay. I understand and can respect that to a point, but nothing that successful teams are doing, you're doing. And the only thing you're saying is, and I heard this already, and I'm going to be positive, but the only thing I'm hearing on the Giants is we're going to rely on these young players. We think that the young players are going to come through. Hell of a plan, and I hope it works. We look at them and we say, what did they do? How did they do it? Right? We are reactionary. Most people are reactionary. Most people are not innovators. Most people they follow how did they win? Let's do that. And if you can't spend the money that are unwilling to, you're unwilling to spend the money that the Dodgers or the top teams are doing. And I understand that. It's up to you. You don't think the turnstiles are turning enough. You don't think you're getting enough revenue. You're not selling panda hats anymore. $20 beers are just not enough revenue for you, whatever the case may be. That's fine. It's your revenue. You understand the books. You know what you want to make. You know what you can live with and wins and losses. I'm not in that room. All the different ways that you can build a team and get better. If you're unwilling to do all those things, the only way I can surmise that, the only conclusion that I can come to is you don't want to win. That's the only way I can look at it. Like the Warriors, Joe Lacob went out and said, you know what? I know this is going to cost me, but I owe Steph Curry for what the Warriors are today and for this arena that was built in San Francisco. I got to go get Jimmy Butler. I have no choice. And I have to give him an extension because that's the only way he'll come here. Joe Lacob and the Warriors want to win. And I look at the Giants and I say they don't want to win because they're not doing everything they can. They're not doing anything they can. How do you bring players in? What is the pipeline to get better? I feel like I'm doing the 12 days of Christmas. They won't defer. They aren't in the Japanese market. They can't draft well. Why are the Giants in fourth place? That's what I feel like. There's a way to build a team, and they are unwilling to do any of it. Nope, we're not going to spend like a big market team. Nope, we're not going to get the Japanese market. Nope, we're not going to give 5-year contracts to pitchers. Nope, we're not going to give double-digit contracts to position players. we're going to rely on our farm system. That's their one way. When I look at the Giants, all the different ways they can funnel talent to their team. What's the way? Farm system. And it's really hard in baseball to continually, year after year after year, pluck diamonds from your system. And that's one way. In all the different ways that I said, from international to draft, all these different ways, there are ways to do it. But a lot of the ways that baseball has found the loopholes on, we can defer money. We can go longer on contracts. And at the end of those contracts, it's going to look ugly. You know, a pitcher at 7-8 years, he might be good for 4, but you're hoping that he can get you a championship in that window. And then the last 2-3 years of the deal, you're eating money. It's just the way it is. But you have the revenue to eat said money, and you're a major market team, which gives you the advantage over the small market teams. Use the advantages you have over the small market teams. The small market teams don't defer. They can't. They can't get burned by those kind of contracts and pay later. The Giants can. The Giants can give out double-digit contracts. They decide not to because they don't want to eat the bad money on the back end. They can. They've got the revenue to do it. They don't want to give 7-year contracts to pitchers because they don't want to eat the money on the back end, but they can. They choose not to. They choose to be Milwaukee and Minnesota. That's in Pittsburgh. That's they're in that realm. They're much more that than they are Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees, Mets. I'm just explaining how it works and how a team how talent can be funneled to a team, and how the Giants aren't doing any of it. Then we scratch our head and go, why are they so bad? You've got to modernize your operations to say, I'm sorry, man, but we have to take some of these chances. If we really want to win at a high level, we're going to have to defer some money at some point. We're going to have to give a contract to a pitcher of 7 years. I'm sorry that you still feel burned from Barry Zito years and years and years ago, but you're going to have to jump back on that horse and give out some money and know that on the back end of a contract, whether it be position player at double-digit years or a pitcher beyond 5, that it's going to be ugly for the last 2 years of that deal, but you have enough revenue to say it's okay because we have enough confidence in said pitcher or said position player that they're going to help us win a championship, because that's what you do. You mix it. It's not all coming from the farm system. It's not all coming from trades. It's not all coming from free agents. It's a mix. And the Dodgers are the best reference point of all of this. The Dodgers sign guys. They get guys from Japan. They use the international market. They defer money. So everyone who gets angry, look at the teams that win the most when it comes to baseball in a sport that is not regulated by a cap. The Giants choose not to go over that number. That is their self-imposed line, and they won't go over it. So another way to restrict how the Giants can bring in talent, they won't go over the line, even though they could. They are a big enough market to do it. They choose not to. They choose not to go over the line. That's their choice. So they choose to not go over. They don't have a Japanese connection. It's a crapshoot blindfold fastball for the international market. The draft is very hard. They can't sign on a consistent basis hitters, position players, because they won't come to the park. They won't go over 5 years on a pitching contract. They give themselves a salary line, even though they're a major market team, and they won't defer money. And everyone goes, why aren't they better? Why are they in 4th place?